Hey everyone, and welcome to Meister Tarot. I do apologise that I haven't done a reading for a while. Had a bit of a medical emergency with a family member, so it's been a week of frazzled thumb twiddling, so that the mind wasn't really with the cards. It was very much with the spiritual energy of the universe, but it wasn't with the cards and on the audience, so I do apologise for that. Tomorrow I'll be back with my usual Sunday Oracle reading, but today I wanted to come on briefly and just go through the energies for October. Have a couple of strong movements in the astrology charts. I'm not an astrologer by any sense of the means. I have just been on the peripheral and understand that Jupiter and Mercury are doing a few Jupiter and Mercury difficulties, which can lead to a rather tense and tense month this month. So we're looking at the month of October. In Australia at the moment, COVID is still number one. We've had our New South Wales Premier unexpectedly resign, who was doing a brilliant job but got caught out by the Corruption Commission due to some activities of a ex-brief partner. So she had a lapse in relationship judgment there, and I think we've lost one of our best premiers that we've had for a long time in New South Wales, a woman of strength and intellect, empathy and determination to do what's best for the people, but due to circumstances. So I might do a quick reading at the end of this to see whether she, after the investigation, I very strongly feel that she will be, if not cleared, she will be excused. Her actions will be forgiven for whatever reason, and I'd like to have a quick look to see whether she'll come back into politics, because to be honest, I feel saddened that this may be something that New South Wales will regret, is losing her as our Premier. It's the same as in the US, your state governors. She's steered us through the bushfires of 1920, the pandemic of 20 and 21, all with clarity and strength and transparency and compassion. So she would be a major loss to the country. So I'd like to have a quick look to see whether she will return in politics in some form. But first of all, I want to have a look to see what just focus a little bit after this week. So as I said, it's been a bit of a, you leave it with the specialist. So there's not much you can do but keep up to date with what's happening. So it's a lot of thumb twiddling while, being concerned. So let's see if we can get back on track. Welcome to my spirit guides and all who come with them. Protect us with your light and guide us with your wisdom. Just some thoughts on the month of October. So what I'll do is I'll draw 2 cards for each week, and then I'll draw a couple of clarifying cards. Actually, what I will do is I will do a abbreviated Celtic cross for each week. So we're starting today is the 2nd of October. So please, I'll do 4 quick readings using my Lightseers Tarot, beautiful, absolutely beautiful deck that I love to read, using my Lightseers Tarot. And if I need to do some clarity, I will use my Golden Universal Tarot, which is like the Rider's Waite Tarot deck, but with some gilding and definition on it. So please, 4 weeks. So first of all, the week beginning the 2nd, what does the universe hold for us? Let's have a look. Okay. Challenged by. Right, so what we've got here in this first week, Four of Swords. Swords is intellect and truth. It's been a hard week, and I think a hard week worldwide, really, both in Australia and overseas, but within Australia, I think New South Wales especially, my home state, we're just going to have to retreat a little bit and do some self-nurturing. Challenged by, now this is my card for abundance and prosperity, but it is also Mother Earth. We've had some shocking storms. It is Australia's East Coast storm season. Some shocking storms, mini tornadoes, hail, the usual, earthquake in Melbourne. I gather there's been a volcanic eruption in Hawaii, an earthquake in Greece. So this week to me is a week of taking a step back, and this continues on actually from my last Sunday's reading of just taking some time to self-nurture, challenged by some things Mother Earth is going to throw at us. She's usually benevolent and means prosperity and abundance, but we also have to remember that we need to look after her as well. Page of Swords, there will be some messages of new ideas, new directions coming out towards us. I'm wondering whether this is in regards to the politics of New South Wales. We're up for a new leader. In the past, Ten of Swords, so downfall and backstabbing, but when you look at the horizon here, it's moving on to a new beginning as the old betrayal passes along, moves away. Anxiety, yes, there's going to be some anxiety for few. We're looking at opening up from COVID in New South Wales in the next couple of weeks. There's a lot of anxiety around that. Still several areas that haven't had, many areas that haven't had access to vaccination. And people just don't know how it's going to go. We had a scare in my local town just the other 2 days ago with 6 parents in our major hospital NICU unit, the the baby intensive care unit, neonatal intensive care unit, 6 parents. Fortunately, none of the babies had contracted COVID, but there's going to be a lot of anxiety. Financial support from governments is being removed, and just people just really don't know what's coming. However, this is fate and karma, but it is also the end of a cycle and the opening of a new chapter. So I think what's happening is that even though there is this anxiety and there is this feeling of that we may have been stabbed in the back and the requirement to nurturing, we are reaching an end of a cycle, and we are opening a new chapter. A new chapter in once COVID, we've learned to live with COVID, our vaccination rates are reached, and I won't say life goes back to normal. What life goes back to is what we have discovered as being necessary in our lives. Not what we were so caught up in hype and the speed of consumerism and the must-have and the importance of influencers. I mean, I personally wasn't, but I know a lot of the world were. And what has made us do is stop and pause and work out what is actually important in our lives. So it's a new chapter of what we as compassionate human beings actually need in our lives. So week starting the 7th, please Spirit, quick draw on week starting the 7th. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, very nice. Okay, so what we've got here is the base of the reading. This is inner strength, but it is also powerful compassion and taking control. So after this week, a little bit with uncertainty, what do these new regulations going to mean? Having to just step back and self-protect for a while. Things are going to become clearer and people are actually going to make decisions for themselves, which may mean that they just do nothing. So the taking control is crossed by the pausing and suspension, and I think what that is, it's not so much government induced. I think what it is people are saying, right, okay, New South Wales, Australia, etc. are starting to open up. I'll just wait a minute. I'll just wait a few weeks and see how this plays out. There will be others that will rush headlong down to the pub for a drink, but I think the majority will just pause and things will happen in a slow, sedate manner. We have been feeling for quite a while, this is the base of the reading, as though we are being held hostage. But if we look at this image, the image of being tied up and surrounded by the swords, which are crows in this particular deck, is more one of the mind. We have actually had a lot of freedom, and it is just how we choose to express that freedom. And when I say freedom, it means, yes, you can't gallivant down to the pub or go to the gym or necessarily throw big parties, etc. But it is more of a intimate freedom, where we are lucky in this time where we have technology and social media. As I said, I had a family member in hospital who outright no visitors whatsoever allowed into the hospital system. Fortunately, we had FaceTime and texting and messaging, and were able to keep in daily contact that way, and then I was able to disperse the information to other family members and friends. So yes, we have been restricted, but it's more a mental restriction than a restriction of when I say mental, it's what we think that we can't do rather than what we actually can't do. In the past, Eight of Wands, messages coming at us like willy-nilly, just daily messages about politics, about COVID, about world events, feeling overwhelmed. But this is in the past. I think we're going to take time out with our Queen of Pentacles to reassess our serenity with our possessions, our health, because Pentacles is a symbol of health, and it is also material wealth. So I think what's happened is we've had a reassessment time, and we are just taking a moment to have the clarity of this. Now, Five of Wands. This is the potential future, and this is the opening up, where this can mean infighting, but I think what it means is just people are clamouring to get out. They're clamouring to get out, but I think this is the minority and this is the majority, where we're just going to wait and see what happens. So that's the second week, the week starting the 8th, because we are looking at opening up retail, etc. on the, I believe it's the 11th. So that's the week beginning the 8th. So that'd be right, that'd be the right week. There'll be some that will be clamouring, as I said, to get out, be with their mates. Now just remember that the rules are you have to be fully vaccinated before you can go to these venues, retail shops, gyms, restaurants, venues, music venues, etc. You need to be fully vaccinated. So just remember that. But if you can, just take your time, and we'll just see how the system copes and how the hospitals cope. So the following week, so if that's the 8th, 8 plus 7 is 15, if I get that right. So the week beginning the 15th, getting along a bit. Week beginning the 15th, please, this will be the week after New South Wales opens up. I really get the feeling this reading this month is talking about the New South Wales opening up rather than on a world scale, so I do apologise if it doesn't pertain to you. It is just something that is fairly front and centre in the lives of us in New South Wales. So the week beginning the 15th, well, that didn't start well. Okay, I won't bring it down for this one, but let's have a look. Right, the foundation card is the Three of Swords. Heartbreak, despair. I think what's going to happen is we're going to open up and there's going to be a massive increase in COVID, which will lead to hospitalisations, etc. Crossed by the Two of Swords. So this is intellectual decisions. So you've got the Three of Hearts, which is a heartbreak, despair and loss. It is also a Swords card, so it is covering the truth. So I think this one is the truth. So it's going to be heartbreak crossed by Two of Swords, which is we need to make a truthful decision about this opening up. Base is the Seven of Wands. Wands is messages. This is a card of serenity, of protecting oneself, of setting boundaries. So again, I think this pertains to just deciding what you're going to do once opening up and setting those boundaries and sticking by them, and don't let peer pressure waver you. In the past, Eight of Cups, which is a new emotional start, can mean new relationships, can mean fertility. I think in this particular case, this is in the past. This is in regards to a new emotional journey. So there will be uncertainty about what to actually do. That's in the past. But I think this still continues on to cover this reading. Queen of Swords, powerful female figure surveying her domain in a manner that she is contemplating what's actually happening. And the potential future is Ten of Wands, which is burden. It also means moving on. But I think in this case it's going to be a burden, and I think this is our hospital systems. So that was the week beginning the 15th. After opening up, I think there's going to we're going to find ourselves in a crap, what happened type scenario, as people realise that their desire for freedoms, which we haven't really lost. It's more as the first week suggested, it was more of a perceived freedom than actual loss of freedom. I know some people are really struggling and really suffering, and my heart goes out to them. It has been a time of quite significant readjustment for a lot, but I think by the time we get to the week beginning the 15th, so that's the 15th through to the 22nd, we're going to have a realisation of what actually opening up means, and it's going to just look after your mental health. That's all I can say. It's going to be a bit of a, oh my goodness, what happened? This was not what I was expecting type scenario. So we need to be honest in what we expect with the opening up. Cases are going to increase, obviously. Hospitalisations are going to increase, which means, unfortunately, deaths are going to increase as well. But the alternative is to stay in this locked up cycle, and that's just not possible. So we just need to be aware and be mentally prepared and have contingencies in place, but also do what you feel that you need to do to look after yourself. Okay. Next week, what am I up to? So that was the 15th, if I'm getting it right, 15th through to the 22nd. So we're looking at the week from the 22nd onwards. So basically the last week of October. And oh my goodness, where did 2021 go? I still think we're in 2020 sometimes. So the week beginning 22nd. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, quick look. Yes, babe. Yeah, hang on. I'll just pause for a moment. Okay, back again. Sorry about that. Brief interruption. So what we've got here is, so this is the final week. Signifier card is the Four of Pentacles. Now, Pentacles are about wealth, health, possessions, etc. This is a person who's being possessive of what they have, and I think we're just going to be in a mindset of just taking stock of where we're at, and just being mindful. Taking stock, being mindful, and protecting what we have. Crossed by the Three of Pentacles, which is the card of coming together, working together. So I think this is a card of setting a solid foundation for the future. So I find that quite interesting, that the signifier is withdrawing into oneself financially and with your possessions, and just looking after your health, crossed by coming together and laying foundations for a solid future. Base of the pack, this is actually I quite like this last month, the last week of the month. The wheel, fate and karma, but also the closing of a cycle and opening of a new chapter. So I think by the end of the month, leading into November, we're going to have a handle on what's happening, what this opening up business means, and we'll be able to get our minds around it and start thinking about the future. Two of Cups, so this is about relationships, new relationships, contracts, but it also means, this is in the past, Two of Cups can be choices, but it is a lovely card. I think what it is we've now had the opportunity to come together, and this is why we are working together to build this solid foundation, and that we're feeling like we're opening a new chapter in our lives. Crowding the reading, the High Priestess, so this is inner spirituality, and very important for us at this stage is to engage with our inner spirituality rather than the physical world. Engage with that as well, but we just need to look within. She is also a holder of secrets, but she is a very intuitive character, so I think in this particular reading, it's just being in touch with yourself. In the future, King of Wands, he's got the line of strength in the background, which is compassionate power and taking control. Being a king, he is a powerful figure, not necessarily male, even though he's a king. So I think people are going to grasp this wand of plans. So the wands are passions and plans, communication and careers, where it's not an ace. It doesn't mean a new beginning, but it just means we're going to firmly take hold of this fire energy combined with the strength and move forward. So I hope you got something out of that. So basically the first 2 weeks we're going to be, holy crumbs, what the heck happened? Then we're going to get our heads around it by the 3rd week, and the 4th week we're actually going to come together with determination and passion and looking after each other and working to rebuild and start again, but with something new, which I think is quite exciting. So thank you, and I do apologise if it seems a little bit disjointed. My brain is still in other places at the moment in some ways. Meister and I have been discussing particular readings for this week, and they were all very deep diving, world crossing readings, but we both decided this wasn't the week for it, so hopefully we'll be back next week with a few more interesting topics. So thank you for joining me. I hope you got something out of that, and I shall be back tomorrow for the Oracle Sunday reading. Okay, as I can attest to, I want to express my love for you all. Stay safe, stay sane, stay strong, look after your health and the health of those around you, both physical and mental. So love you and see you later. Bye-bye.